So I am a 25-year-old Brit that has been living in Australia for about 2.5 years, and unfortunately, due to the visa conditions here in Australia, people from the UK can only do 3 years here in Australia, which means unfortunately it is my final year here in Australia. And whilst there is things I'm slightly looking forward to in the UK, there is definitely a lot of things which I will miss from Australia, or more specifically, things about UK life that I will find very hard to adjust to after living in Australia for 3 years. And we're going to go into that in today's video. So point number one, maybe the most obvious, maybe the biggest adjustment that I will have to make, and that is the long, cold and dark winters in the UK. This is an obvious one, especially because Australia is known for its amazing weather, and it is very nice here in Australia. The summers are amazing. The winters, they do get cold, but I honestly find Australian winters quite cold now. I don't know how I'm going to deal with a whole UK winter. I reckon I'm going to have to try and get away in like January or something to try and break it up, because UK winters, they're not just cold and dark, they are so long. What I do love about Australia is the weather is only cold for around 3 or 4 months, and then it's hot for about 7 or 8 months of the year, compared to the UK where it's literally the other way round. It's warm for like 2 or 3 months and then it's cold for like 7 or 8. So that's going to take some big adjustments for sure, and I think that first year in particular is going to be very hard to deal with weather-wise, especially if we don't get a warm summer as well, because you're not always guaranteed a warm summer in the UK. Point number two, simply just not going to the beach on my days off. This is quite a specific thing about life here in Australia, but honestly, the fact that on my days off I can just plan to go to the beach is the best thing ever. And I feel like living in Australia for 2 or 3 years, I kind of take it for granted now. I don't think I realise how much I'm going to miss that when I go back to the UK. Literally every time the weather's nice and I've got a day off work, I'm straight down to the beach. And again, like I said, especially here in Perth, I've just got the choice of so many beaches and I can spend the day there. In the UK, I can go to the beach, but it's going to be a rare occasion because it's never really hot enough, and also the beaches aren't amazing. So just simply going to the beach on my day off, I'm going to miss a lot in the UK. Point number three, I think I will find it kind of difficult again to adjust to the work culture in the UK, especially after working in Australia for 3 years. As I mentioned in a recent video, the work culture in Australia is just so much more positive than the UK. Of course, not everyone likes their jobs, but I just feel like Aussies, they do live a good life outside of work. And I think that being here in Australia, everyone's just a lot more chilled out at work. The culture's not so negative. You've actually got some stuff to talk about with people because they've been up to decent stuff on their weekends. In the UK, the biggest thing that stood out to me is how negative the culture is at work. Everyone just doesn't want to be there. It's just a negative vibe, and I feel like adjusting to working in the UK will be quite difficult. Point number four, another work-related one, and I will not like adjusting to this at all, and that is the weekly pay and the high wage in Australia. One of the best things about working in Australia is, on average, the wage is so much higher. Not only are you getting a higher wage, but you're also getting paid weekly, which is amazing. In the UK, pay is monthly, which I will not be looking forward to at all, getting paid every month. But the main thing, I will not be looking forward to doing probably a similar job and getting paid way worse. It's not really what I want to be doing, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, so I can be doing this full time. That'd be nice. But yeah, if it comes to it and I gotta work a full-time job in the UK, I will miss the Australian wage 100%. Point number five will be adjusting to the busyness and the fast pace of life in the UK. In Australia, life is very slow paced. It's not really busy. Even in the main cities in Australia, it's not that busy. One thing that definitely stood out to me going back to the UK for a visit was how busy it was. People everywhere, everything felt so like densely populated. Obviously it is compared to Australia where everything is so spread out. But just being in the towns and cities, I'm very used to like peace and quiet, to be honest. Going for a walk and only seeing a few people. Even in the city centre, it's quite chill. Transport, you always get a seat on the train. In London, you're never going to get a seat on the underground, or you're lucky if you do. I think I will find it difficult at first to adjust to the busyness of life, and there's people everywhere in the UK. In Australia, it's pretty peaceful, to be honest. Point number six is I think I will miss the sense of freedom that I have in Australia and find it a bit hard to adjust to in the UK. I always talk about this: when you move abroad, somewhere like Australia, you don't know anyone, so you feel so free and you don't care about what you look like, what you're doing. You're not really, because no one knows you, do you know what I mean? You just feel like you can be completely yourself and do whatever you want. But back in the UK, everyone knows you, your friends know you, your neighbors know you. You're kind of a bit more like, people know me here. So as much as I'm not gonna care as much as I did when I lived there, now I've lived abroad, I don't think I'm still gonna have that same sense of freedom I have living here in Australia, because it's like amazing having the freedom here in the UK. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm gonna have that as much. And point number 7, just simply accepting that my time in Australia is done. I have no doubts that when I first moved back to the UK, I'm gonna miss Australia. I know that, I'm pretty sure. I think there's gonna be parts of me which wishes I was still in Australia. Maybe, I don't know, it depends. I might love living in the UK, but I think it's just accepting that this period in Australia is over. I think that's gonna take a while to accept, because it's been a massive part of my life. I moved to Australia when I was 21. I'm now 25. I'll be going back nearly at 26, so it's a massive chunk of time having been abroad. Obviously I haven't been in Australia the whole time, but by the time I go back it will have been like 3 years. So I think just accepting that Australia is done and just not craving everything from Australia and just accepting it is something that I'm gonna have to do, unless we do decide to ever move back here in the future, which I guess we'll never say 100% no to, because you never know. But I think initially I'm definitely gonna have to just accept that, you know, we're in the UK now, Australia's done, and accept that instead of just wishing I was still there. You never know, I might love the UK, we'll see. So there is my list of things that I think I will struggle to adjust to in the UK, having lived in Australia. Judging by this list, I think a lot of you guys will think, why are you moving back to the UK then, if you're gonna miss all that kind of thing? If you do wanna know why I'm gonna move back to the UK, I have done a video on it, which I'll leave on the screen. The main reasons being family and friends, and also it's quite difficult to stay in Australia. They're the main 2 reasons, but I'll go into a bit more detail in that video. I've still got a decent amount of my visa left here in Australia, so stay tuned for more Australia content, because it's not going just yet. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.